Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to another movie review. And for something that's a little bit different, I'm going to be reviewing a DC animated movie. Now, of course, like I said, with DC's track record recently, with their movies and stuff, have not been that good, except for a few recent, one though of the past couple of years I do like, but no one does like. And I explained before though, but their films have recently now just have gone. But regardless of that, though, um, they made over a ton of animated movies, and everybody's pretty much seen almost all of them probably, but there has been a lot of DC anime films that I've enjoyed, which I would say some of their anime films is better than some of the DC films they have right now. To be perfectly honest, and even sometimes even aspects even more darker and better stories than some of the films. So yeah, even though I've not their films recently, like Man of Steel, Christopher Nolan's Batman films, or Batman vs Superman. There have been DC animated movies that I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed a lot of them. A lot of Batman, Superman, Justice League films. Some of them, even Green Lantern or some other stuff. Well, now I don't have like every single one of them. I have a few though, but one day I'll get all. One day I'll get all of the DC animated films though. But right now I just have a few. But I'm not gonna review every single one of them like in a row. That's gonna take me forever and a lot of time though. But I'll just wherever I get if I get some more here and there, I will review them though. But for now, I'll just stick with the ones I have right now until I get the rest of them though. But for this one right here, I would say this one I'll review is I would say it's definitely one of my favorites, and because I like a lot of this made it very interesting for me. And this one I'm reviewing is Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox, released in 2013, and focuses on the story focuses on the Flash, Barry Allen. Um, this one I really did enjoy, and the Flashpoint Paradox is definitely a very good one. It's definitely I would say if like in my top three or maybe my top five favorites. Well, I'm not exactly sure because if I didn't have to make a top 10 list of my favorite DC anime films, this definitely be one of them on there. But I have to get all the DC anime films if I have to do that though. But it would take me forever. But this is definitely one of my favorites, and it's definitely worth a look. And the film got a lot of praise. It has an 8.1 on IMDb and has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it has to be that good for it to get worth a lot in. And for the most part, how well, the logistics of the story is that if I go through it, I'll explain why some of the good points why I like about it. Of course, a Flashpoint. It's an alternate timeline basically, and it's about the Flash, Barry Allen. That you get the opening. The opening is that when he was a kid, that on the day of he was on his way to his home to celebrate his mother's birthday, and when he comes in, his mother has been murdered. And you fast forward to years later, basically to the present time. Um, Barry has been he visits her grave because it's her birthday, so he lays some flowers on there, and with his wife, and then he gets called to the Flash. He's been called to this museum for the basically the Flash Museum, and you got these villains. You got Captain Cold, Heatwave, Another one I know, Captain Boomerang, which really enough, Captain Boomerang is going to be in the upcoming DC film Suicide Squad, played by Jai Courtney, which I'm not that fan. I'm not a fan of him as an actor, so. But the villain itself, Captain Boomerang, is going to be in Suicide Squad. And third, I forget what another villain is called though, but they're in the museum, and he's taking out the Flash is taking out these bad guys till the Justice League has showed up, until he gets he comes across his basically his arch enemy, the complete opposite, the Reverse Flash, or AKA Professor Zoom. Yeah, I guess it puts him like in the sticky stuff. I guess like in the sticky stuff, and he like plants bombs on the people, the villains, and then the Justice League comes in, and plus with the Professor Zoom, the other thing is a good one thing that works is I thought it had a great voice cast in the film, like well, Justin Chambers, I have not heard much of him though, but I thought he did all right as Barry Allen, the Flash. I thought he was all right. Not the best of the voices though, but I thought he played the voice of the Flash okay. But C. Thomas Howell, who plays the Reverse Flash, I thought he did a great job as Professor Zoom. I thought he was a very interesting voice role for playing of the villain. He which he didn't appear much. He was in the beginning and they appeared at the end. But regardless, I thought C. Thomas Howell, I thought he played a really good, great job voice wise. In all the ones, Michael B. Jordan, who of course he plays in Creed, Apollo Creed's son, which I'm not a fan of though. But and also of course he played Johnny Storm in the new Fantastic Four that everybody hates, which I actually liked Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. But that's just me though. He voices Cyborg, and I thought he did a good job as Cyborg. Kevin McKidd, which really enough, he was in Dog Soldiers, which is probably a lot of people their favorite werewolf films, which really is also mine as well. I love Dog Soldiers. Kevin McKidd was in that movie, and he plays Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father. And which, of course, right there, he's Batman right there in the alternate timeline, which I thought which I'll get to. Cary Elwes as Aquaman. Now, honestly, I'm not. Of course, me and my brother are both not fans of Aquaman, which my brother says he's basically the ripoff of Namor, the Marvel version. I'm not a fan of Aquaman, and of course, I'm not. I have no interest in the new Aquaman movie that Jason Momoa is playing. I'm not a fan of him as an actor either. Of course, like I said, the same thing. My brother enjoys him because he's a fan of Stargate Atlantis. So, yeah, he's a fan of Jason Momoa in that show. So, but I'm not a fan of him as an actor. And plus, Bolt to the Head and the remake of Conan the Barbarian. She sucked in both films, and I have zero interest in him playing Aquaman. But this Aquaman I actually did like, though. I think it's one of the I would probably say one of the best things I would say about the portrayal of Aquaman and what he does in the film, and voiced by Cary Elwes. I think he did a good job voicing. Nathan Fillion from Castle and Slither and stuff, and I thought he plays Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, which he has been a voice. He's been a voice of Green Lantern and a couple others, and I thought he was pretty good for the voice he had, and then the other ones as well. And I was nice to hear Nathan Fillion in this. Ron Perlman as Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, or the opposite of Deadpool, you could say. Overall, I think you have a very solid voice cast in this film. But back to what I was saying though, the Justice League comes in, and then Professor Zoom says something to which the Flash didn't like, and one thing leads to another, which remembers what happened with his mother, and then next thing, he wakes up where as a job, and he has no powers, but as he heads outside the building, his mother is there. She's alive, and like she's like, first why, which he didn't say though, but he's very happy to see his mom. Hugs her, because it's a birthday, and just and he's very happy to see her. But he says like why she's alive. But one thing is the whole thing of is that the timeline's been changed. And basically, by the end, at the end, it explains it all. That basically, it was basically all his doing because he wanted to save his mom. He wanted to save his mom, and that by saving her, he altered things. He changes the law of people, which he goes to see. But before that, you see Batman, but it's not Bruce Wayne. It's his father, Thomas Wayne, and he's Batman. And I thought that was interesting to make his father Batman, and in this Batman he has guns, and he's shooting guns. He's shooting at this female villain called Yo-Yo. Well, basically he's like Harley Quinn though, but Yo-Yo, and he's shooting guns and trying to get some information about where's the Joker, and she's like, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I thought and then he goes like gets like something to cut her tongue. Is like, here, I'll take it off for you, and it shows he's not messing around. He means business, and he was gonna kill her. He goes and throws her off the building, and of course she would have died though. But if it hadn't been for Cyborg saves her. And then he's working for the government. And you say that Thomas Wayne, he's a drinker. He drinks, and Barry Allen, Flash, he goes to Wayne Manor, and goes in to see Batman, but which he assumed it was Bruce, but it's not. It's Thomas Wayne. He knows that it's his father, and and more than this. The alternate timeline that's been changed, it was Bruce that died that night, and not his parents. He died, and then you get this little hint that it was when Bruce died, his mother, she's like first she's crying over his son's death, but then something snapped in her head. Is that you get the indication she's now laughing maniacally. Like, she puts, like, blood on her face that kind of resembles the Joker. And to me, that hinted the fact that she becomes the Joker. But they don't fully go into that, though. That's just only hinted that for that one scene. But I'm sure it is, though. But I guess in this one, she becomes the Joker. Because, she's, like, laughing like the Joker. And she has that, like, when she puts the blood on her face, has, like, the makeup like the Joker, smiling and stuff. I was like, oh wow, that's to me that's messed up. Like Bruce's mom becomes the Joker, even though I would like to have seen that though. But then now Thomas Wayne, he becomes Batman, and he was explained to Barry's trying to explain to him that he's not supposed to be this timeline, that things have been changed, and he wants to show that his name is the Flash, and he shows in his ring that his costume, but it's Professor Zoom's costume that comes out, and he's the one he tells him that he's the one who did this, and the line that Batman Thomas Wayne says, this world does create monsters. You see the card of the Joker, and he wants to recreate. Since he has no powers, he wants to recreate the experiment that gave him the superpowers, how he became the Flash. So he sets him in this chair, and he's waiting for lightning, and he gets struck though, but the first attempt, it doesn't go well. He gets badly burned, all bandaged up, so he tries again, and it does succeed this time, and he's like all healed up, no longer burned. And while that's going on, and since the things have been changed, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are at war with each other. You know, the battle of the Atlanteans and the Amazons. And there was the point where Aquaman and Wonder Woman, you know, like they kiss, and Aquaman's wife doesn't like that he challenged Wonder Woman. She lost, but of course, you see that Wonder Woman, she won, but she holds up her decapitated head. And this is why this is one thing I got my attention. So this film was like, even though it's PG-13, I would like to see how this was done rated R though. But PG-13, yeah, it's definitely worth it if it was PG-13. But the other part of me said I would like to see this be rated R because it shows like a decapitated head, and it has blood in it, but not full on blood and gore though. But it does have blood in it though. But I was like, oh wow, showing a decapitated head and stuff. I was like, oh wow, that's surprised they got all the way with them by making it PG-13 though. Which the other part of me says I wish I could see this if it would have been rated R though. But and this is why stuff like this, and of course in some other animated DC films, that's why it's much more darker and much more bloodier and better story and better characters than I get out of Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman. I keep on bringing it up because, well, I got nothing from Batman vs. Superman or Man of Steel. But DC, when they do their animated films, for most films I do like, but there's been a few I did not like though, but they do some interesting things with their animated films. They do. Yeah, because I know it's like a pair of things. You know, Marvel's better with their movies, and DC's better with their animated films and TV shows. And personally, for me, never interested in the Flash TV show, or Arrow, or Gotham. But I enjoy a lot of the DC animated movies. And there's been DC films like Tim Burton's Batman, Batman Returns. What was it? Batman Forever. I didn't mind though, but of course Batman and Robin. Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds, everybody hates though, but I like that one. Christopher Reeve's Superman 1 and 2. But those are DC, and I like those films. So just pointing out though, or Red, which is labeled DC though, but I think it's also for another thing though, but. But for other things, I do like DC about, so I'm not. Yeah, mostly Marvel. I enjoy because Marvel has had a lot of good things going for it lately, though, than DC. But just saying. And it shows a thing on a ship where with Deathstroke, voiced by Ron Perlman, is with Lex Luthor and some other people on the board. They fight the Atlanteans. Everybody's getting killed. And there is a point you see Clayface. He gets destroyed. Deathstroke gets killed, and Lex Luthor is the last one standing. And he sits his watch or something, and Aquaman stabs him, kills him. And while let's go with Wonder Woman, you see Lois Lane, and she gets rescued from some other pack of people. From the Amazons. And then Bruce, not Bruce. Thomas is being told by Barry Allen that we need Superman, and of course in this alternate timeline, Superman, he didn't land in Smallville. He landed in Metropolis, and he was captured by the government. He's been kept all his time, so that he gets a cyborg to help him to break into the facility where he's at. And when they find him, and he's like all scrawny. He's not big built though, because he's been down there all that time. And at first he's confused. He's like a little bit scared. But they tell him that we're your friends, we're here to help you, and they get him outside to to be charged. get his strength from the sun. Then the soldiers coming in, and when Superman is he gets his powers, he uses his heat vision. He goes and disintegrates all these people and destroys the bows and stuff. And then of course he's a little bit confused because he's not sure he uses powers. He flies away, but then later on he comes back. So, and then the thing I like that was interesting with Bruce Wayne. Oh, I keep saying Bruce Wayne. Thomas Wayne. He doesn't have the bat plane or stuff like that. He just has a regular plane because he was rich. He has he was once a doctor, and he owns a casino, and he has his plane, has a bar and stuff, and also with the help that they visit him, Flash and Cyborg. They visit this home where these kids are. These kids, of course, they form Shazam. Shazam. But it's not one kid; it's a whole bunch of kids. They when they sit together, they form Shazam. And also that's while it's happening, Barry's his memories from his old timeline is being mixed in with with new memories in this new timeline, and it's going to go to the point where he's going to have these new memories, and his old memories will be erased. So they had to fix this as soon as possible, and so they head over to London, and the fights is being, the Amazons, Atlanteans are fighting, and Lois Lane, some of those other people they're fighting as well, until they show up. Batman, there's one part he throws Batman he throws a grenade, which against this villain, which I forget who this guy is called, because he has his helmet. It looks like a beetle that shoots out lasers out of the eyes, but he throws a grenade, and it blows up in front of the guy, and part of the guy's helmet is destroyed, exposing his face. And then Batman and another guy with guns shoots him in the face. Boom, boom, blood spurting out. And then Aquaman is fighting Wonder Woman. Wrecking more stuff. More people are getting killed, and Flash sees Reverse Flash, and he goes after him, and get to this top of the building. Reverse Flash, or Professor Zoom, beats him up, gets his metal rod, stabs him in the leg, and tells them that he didn't do any of this. It was all Barry's fault, because, like I said, he went back in time. He wrote the time barrier, because he rescued his mom. He saved his mom. That's why she's alive. But since by doing that, it altered everything, changed everything. This is why it's the way it is. But he does because he wanted to save his mom. C. Thomas Howell, I thought he did a good job as Professor Zoom. Saying what he's talking. And while that's down back into the battle, Aquaman, he was about to destroy Cyborg because he breaks his metal arms. He rips up his metal armor, with his heart still is exposing his heart is still beating. But as he's about to do that, Superman comes back and uses his heat vision and cuts off Aquaman's arm off. And he tells Cyborg, hero, friends. But then Cyborg dies. And with Wonder Woman, she's fighting Shazam, and she gets her rope of truth, tells her how did you do that, and forces the truth out of Shazam by saying Shazam. All the kids are there, and she kills the kids. It's like, oh wow, she killed the kids. So she decapitated Aquaman's wife, showing her decapitated head, and she killed the kids. Yeah. Some things are worth rated R though, but yeah, PG-13 is fine though. This is why I could say I'm fine with the PG-13 rating. It's not full on gore, but there is blood and it's worth PG-13. And seeing showing the keep saying the word wrong. Decapitated head. It's. I thought that probably would be worth R rating though, but well, it would have been R rating if they said like the F word though, but they don't. Oh, one thing I forgot I missed. So speaking with that, with the words like that, Hal Jordan in this alternate time, I forgot about him. He's not Green Lantern in this though, but he flies the plane that or the craft that I believe that when Superman arrived, and he had this bomb attached, and he was gonna go down and self-sacrifice to destroy Aquaman's submarine, but instead this huge sea monster comes in, and I thought this was a good line that Nathan Fillion, Hal Jordan says. He's like, "Beware my power, asshole," and he just goes in, which then the sea monster pops in and swallows him, but self-sacrifices himself, blows himself up along with the sea monster. Yeah, I forgot to mention him. And well, also down in his submarine, Aquaman has captured Captain Atom. I think his name is, and Captain Atom. And before Aquaman is about to get killed by Wonder Woman, he sets up the thing for Captain Atom as like a nuclear explosion, basically. So Wonder Woman kills him, and then he sets off the explosion from Captain Atom, sends up like a big atom bomb, basically, and destroying everything. And then Reverse Flash is still talking with him. He's like, because Flash, in order to go back to fix all this, he has to break the timeline again, though. But he can't do that because Reverse Flash is in it, and he can make him not do it. So as long as he's there, he can't. And I thought this was a badass move. Is that while he's talking to Flash, the Reverse Flash is shot in the head by Batman, and it shows that he shot this big old hole right through his head. I thought that was a badass move. Batman sneaks behind the Reverse Flash, comes up from behind him, shoots and blows a big old hole in his head. And now Flash is now able to go to the timeline again. And before he goes, Thomas Wayne gives, because he got injured earlier, and he gives Barry a letter, which is for his son Bruce, because he told him that Bruce is alive in the old timeline and he's Batman. So he gives him the letter and he runs off as the explosion goes. But he still managed to run, even with his leg injured. He still managed to go to the timeline. He sees his older self. His older self was going to go to save his mom, but with a tough decision like that, though, he has to not save his mom. So he has to have his mother die to fix the whole thing. I was like, wow. Even though you want to save your mother, though, but to save the whole world, you have to let your mother die to keep the world the way it is. But from going to be World War III, basically. So yeah, so he stops his old self. Everything's set back to normal. He has his wife, and he still has his wife. His mother dies, so he goes to her grave again. And then he goes to Bruce's Batman's underground Tom and Wayne Manor, and he explains the whole thing to him. And before he leaves, he gives him the letter, which I thought this was a kind of a nice touch, or kind of like a sweet ending. Basically, he gives him the letter, and he says, "This is my father's handwriting." Opens the letter, and I like the fact that Bruce is crying because it's from his father when he was alive in the alternate timeline, and because of how much he loved his father, he starts crying and says, "You're one hell of a messenger, Barry." And Barry gives him the salute and races off into the city. So, Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. I really enjoyed this one. It's definitely one of my favorites. But like I said, I have a few of these DC animated films though, but One day I'll get all of them though, and I'm not gonna review everything, the whole franchise in a row. It'll just take me forever though. But I'll just review one at a time on my own different times though, whenever I feel like it. Because yeah, there are things I'll review a franchise though, but when it's as many as like probably I forget like what 20 or 30, maybe more, at least maybe like 30. But I'll get to snippets here or there. Maybe I'll do one or two at a time though, but it's gonna take me some time though. But one day I will get all the DC animated films though, and I'll review like a few at a time here and there. But for this one, the Flashpoint Paradox, I really do enjoy, and I thought it was an interesting story because the shifting timeline. Bruce I like that. I like the idea that Bruce's father becomes Batman, and he's more violent, using the guns and stuff. And I like the badass move where he just killed Professor Zoom, just shot a big old hole in his head. I thought that was such a badass scene right there. And like I said, I'm another fan of Aquaman, but I think this is one of the best interpretations of Aquaman in there. But like he. Even though in this time they're both him and Wonder Woman are villains, and I thought that Cary Elwes did a good job voicing as Aquaman. Kevin McKidd voices Thomas Wayne. I enjoyed him in Dog Soldiers, and I liked his voice in this film. Michael B. Jordan as Cyborg, I liked. C. Thomas Howell, I thought he did a good job voicing as Reverse Flash, even though he appeared most of the beginning and at the very end. But regardless, I still liked his voice. So C. Thomas Howell was good in it. Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, he was good as well. Ron Perlman for the little voice role he had as Deathstroke, he was fine. So overall, the voice cast was very solid, and the story I liked. And like I said, even though part of me I would like to see this film be like an R-rated one, but PG-13 is fine, even though it shows things that would be worth R-rated though. Like, yeah, you got blood in there, but not full-on blood and gore. But I would like to see that though for a DC animated movie. And like, so it's like Wonder Woman holding Aquaman's wife's decapitated head. Some of some of the lines I liked, like how Jordan said, "Beware my power, asshole," or Thomas Wayne about to cut Yoga's tongue was like, "Here, I'll take that off for you." But overall, and it's on for about and it's not that long of a film. It's a short film. It's like 80 minutes, so it's not that long of a film. Overall, this is a very good DC animated film. A solid one, the most. It's definitely one of my favorites. Like I said, the story things I would say it's much more. Like I said, I speak for a lot of the DC animated films. It's much more of a better story and much more darker and much more like better action and more blood than I would say better than DC films right now. Like I said, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, especially those. But overall, but that's my opinion on those things, though. But I do like. But I'm not a DC hater. But their films recently have been not that good at all. But DC animated films, they've been spot on a whole bunch of them. But even though there's been a few ones I have not liked, though, but 90% I would give. The DC animated films have been good. And one day I will get all of DC films, and I'll do reviews of those in the future. But this one is definitely stop. Keep on stammering my words again. This is definitely worth a look. Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox, definitely worth a look. I really do enjoy this one. But anyway, that's my review of the film. If anyone wants to see it, go and check it out. Give your thoughts on it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.